Hey everybody, welcome to the Legacy Up channel. I appreciate every single one of you that's tuning in now to this video today. Greatly appreciated. My name is Giovanni Rodriguez. I'm a serial entrepreneur. Came from the corporate world to now I'm building businesses and looking to just grow in all areas of life to create a legacy that I'm proud of when I'm not here on this earth anymore. And this is what this channel is all about. We're not about just leveling up, we want a legacy up. So I'm really excited to have you here because we're going to be talking about this video and during the next videos and during the life of this channel. It's going to be all about how you can have long-term success in your life and whatever it is that you want to focus on. So we're not only going to be talking about building wealth, we're also going to be talking about building spiritual wealth, personal life, and getting wealthy in that area of life as well, relationships, how to be better in that area, and just overall mindset as well, and how to level up and legacy up your mindset, and all of these things together, encompassing all of these things and focusing on really long-term success in these areas is going to give you the best results in life and will really leave you with something that when you're not here anymore, you can realize you've left something great. You've left the legacy we're speaking of. And that's what this channel is about. We're going to be taking a deep dive into these concepts. On this video, make sure you stay until the end because I will give an extra bonus concept at the end for you guys, for those who stay until the end. Because I'm going to be talking about in this video the 4 pillars of a successful legacy. So there's a lot of information out there, so I wanted to compact that and bring it into 4 main concepts, right? And I wanted to make sure that I had it as compound as possible so that you all, didn't get confused and you could really focus on these core areas. Because if you focus on these 4 pillars, then you will be able to build a legacy you are proud of. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and after you see this video, I want to hear what you thought about it. Maybe if you were to, maybe you thought I left something out that you would put in there, or you could talk to me about what you thought about the 4 pillars that I mentioned. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. So now let's get into it and let's talk about the 4 pillars to a successful legacy. First off, we got to define what legacy is to us. You have to define what it is to you. Define and expand. So that's the first pillar. Let's go into it in more detail. So define. You have to, in order for you to achieve something, especially long-term success and what we're talking about, which is legacy, you have to have a clear vision of it, right? Even if you haven't gotten there yet, you have to be able to have seen it in your mind and visualized it and written down various things on paper and just meditated on it, because you have to have that clear definition of it. We're all going to have a different definition because depending on our natural talents, depending on our different experiences and what we want to accomplish, then that will impact, right, what our legacy is going to end up being. So we have to have that defined clearly. For example, I just want to give you an example in my case, right? In my example, it would be, I want to create various businesses so that can create passive income and liberate my time so that I can build and grow a community of people that can have greater legacies and also impact future generations of my family. See, that's the legacy I want to build. I want to build a legacy focused on helping others build what they want to build their legacy, and also secure the financial situation for my future generations through the businesses I want to build, and give them the values, the character, and show them those things that I've learned along the way that have made me successful and a better person, pass that along to my family. So that's the legacy I want to leave. So now you have to think about, what is it that you want to leave? Also think about right now, what is it that you're already building? Maybe you haven't even noticed, but we're all building something, even if we don't realize it. We're all already building a legacy, either it be positive or negative. You may not realize it, but you are already building it. So now I want you to concentrate now, and now that you realize that you are building a legacy, even though it may not have been, you may not have been consciously thinking about it, now I want you to consciously define what you want to leave behind when you're not here on this earth anymore. So just think about it. Write it down. It's important for you to meditate on it and write that down, what exactly it is that you would like to leave behind when it's all said and done. What would you want people to most cherish about you? What do you want those memories to be like when people remember their experiences with you, when they interacted with you in different scenarios? So that's the first part, define. Now the second part of this first pillar, which was expand, is the knowledge aspect, which means you have to, now that you have it clear and you have a clear legacy defined, this is where I want to be. I want to be able to impact orphans all around the world, because I didn't have a stable family when I was growing up, and I want to make sure that kids around the world can be successful and feel like they have somebody right there with them, supporting them in the difficult times. Just an example, right? Well, that's a great legacy to build. But now you have to gain the knowledge and expand upon that so that you can be successful in building this legacy and making it and forming it into what you want it to be. So expansion, knowledge, that's the knowledge aspect. I mean, I can tell you in the last 3 to 4 years, I've invested so much in myself and in self-development, courses, knowledge, mentorship, books, all that, and it's all worth it, because each one is a stepping stone to getting, further into the journey of making my legacy complete. So it's important for you to expand your knowledge base, expand your mind and your mindset. All of that comes from the knowledge that you're receiving on a daily basis. So I recommend reading. Reading is a big part of how I learn, and it may have come naturally to me because since I was way younger, I've always loved to read, and I've always loved the aspect of books, and I was just transformed, and I would like go into another world. It was like a theater in my mind. I don't know, some people who read a lot would probably understand me. Like I would get transported into like a movie every time I would read. So it was natural for me. For some people it's a little bit more difficult, but I'm telling you it's worth it. Expand your knowledge so that you can have that foundation for your legacy to be successful. Because if you don't have the knowledge, if you're not willing to invest the time and the energy to educate yourself and get the right people, get the right information in front of you, then it's going to be a slower process, and you're not going to be able to maybe achieve it as quickly or as efficiently as you could if you would have the right knowledge and you were acquiring that knowledge at a good pace. So take that into consideration. That's the first pillar. Define and expand. All right, guys? Now, let's move on to the second one, which is consistency. This is a big one. Consistency. You probably have heard this before, and it is true. You have to be able to do what it takes day in and day out to achieve any goal. And now that we're talking about a legacy, which is something that is, remaining long after you're gone, it's even more important to be consistent and make sure that you're consistently doing what you have to do every day to achieve your goals in the short term and the long term towards building that legacy that you're aiming for. So consistency, more easier said than done, right? Because sometimes we know the things we have to do on a daily basis, we may understand, right, the concepts that go into it, but it's another thing to actually get up, go in, and get the work done, even when you like it, even when you're tired, even when you're having a bad day, you don't have as much motivation. I'm probably gonna hit that process while I'm making these videos, and I know it's gonna happen because I have so much going on with with the businesses and the other stuff that I'm doing simultaneously. But that's not an excuse. We have to be consistent. I have to make sure that I'm making that video every single day, like I said, so that I can have an impact on your lives and give you the information that I'm receiving and pass it on to you so that we can build our legacies together. So that consistency has to be there. I want to give you a quick example, a personal experience of mine. I remember back when I was, you have to basically be prepared to fail consistently. So let's go to that before moving on to my personal experience. But you have to be willing to fail consistently and get back up again in order to be truly successful. So that's another point within this pillar, right? Consistency, but also consistency means that if I fail, if I fall down, and some days I just don't feel like it's gonna work out and everything is just impossible, that I still brush myself off and try again. And that's what's important. And that's what's gonna make the difference. And that's what a lot of times makes the difference between a great legacy and just a not so impactful one. It's those details like being consistent and getting back up again after you failed. So that's a very, very, very important aspect. I mean, personally, in my life, there's been a lot of times where I failed, where I've felt like I wasn't good enough and I didn't put in the right amount of effort, right? I think we've all been through that. But there's also been times where I've gone through things that maybe weren't my fault and I felt like life was being unfair, and yet, especially at a younger age, I was able to overcome those obstacles. And I believe that really formed my mindset and that grit that I needed now in this stage of my life to help me get past certain scenarios. So just know that this pillar of being consistent and getting used to failing and consistently getting back up, that is something that is going to help you as you continue to move forward and building your legacy. You're going to need that, and you're going to need to bring that out in those tough times so that you can keep pushing forward and building your legacy even when things aren't going so well. So second pillar, really important, consistency and consistently getting back up even when you fail. The third pillar, right? Be patient. So we got to learn how to be patient. I think for some it's more they're like, oh Gio, you just don't know, man. I just can't deal with certain things that are going on. I'm not that person. I just need things now done. And yeah, there's certain time for that, right? For that urgency. There is specific moments that you're going to need that urgency. But there's other moments in life that you have to be patient and know that if you're consistent, that if you've defined clearly your legacy and you're expanding your knowledge, then you will eventually continue to grow and reach new heights in your life as you continue to develop yourself. But you have to be patient enough to understand the cycles that you have to go through, right? Quick example. I want to give you an example on this one. This is back when I was in corporate, my first office, my first big management position where they gave me my own office. And I remember it was one of the smaller offices, and I had, basically it was me, one employee at the counter, and another employee in another part of the office helping with a different task. So there was 3 of us total, including myself, in that office. So the tough part was that I had to sometimes go and market in my area, and that person who was in the office with me had to stay by themselves sometimes, and it was tough in the beginning for them because there were situations where they had to resolve while I was not there, and I would always be available and I would always pick up the phone, but still it was tough when certain rush would happen in the office and I wasn't able to be there because I had to build our business and look to market and grow that office. And I would say in my mind, and I would tell the employees, like, we gotta be patient. It's gonna pay off. Like, I know you're seeing that it's like everything is not going as smooth as we would like, and there's a lot of stuff going on, and we're under a lot of pressure and everything. But trust me, we gotta be patient, and everything is gonna work its way out as long as we keep doing what we have to do daily, and we remain consistent. It's gonna work its way out. And guess what happened? That office, when I first got there, was just me and those 2. When I actually ended up leaving that office almost 2 years later, it was actually me. I had an assistant manager, and we had 3 employees in the office and 2 other people in the other area of the office because of the amount of business that we had coming into the office. And part of that was because of the relationships I had developed marketing in my area and being patient enough to know that those relationships were eventually going to become fruitful, and that's exactly what happened. And thankfully, we reaped the fruits of that labor. So that's important for all of you to understand, that patience is a big virtue, and it's something that we must know when we have to pull that out of our toolbox and use it, and not get desperate and not feel like things aren't working out because it's not going the way we want it to go. Just know, if you're following the pillars, right? If you gaining the knowledge, you have defined what your legacy is, and you're being consistent, and now you're being patient, things will work their way out. So be patient, don't rush into things. Just trust that if you have the right intentions in your heart and you work hard, things will come and great things will happen. All right? Now, we're coming up to the last one right here. And this one is important, right? Before we get into that bonus one and into this one, just make sure, right? Don't miss the next videos. Hit the subscribe, right? Hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. That will help out. Always make sure that every room you enter, you leave it cleaner than when you stepped in. All right? So that one, I'm gonna unwrap it for you, because this one's a little bit tricky, right? I know you won't understand it now when I've said it, but let's dive into it. This one's really good. I got this really clear in my mind. I'd always knew that this was important about giving value and always looking at, right? I had a friend of mine who's also an entrepreneur and a client. He told me about this book called Go Giver. Instead of being, right, a go-getter, it's go-giver. And it's all about you giving value and looking to give before receiving, and how that ends up helping you out in the long run, because when people see that value you're always giving, it just comes right back around. And that I understood the other day with this story that I heard, which I thought was incredible, and I want to share it with all of you. So the most important thing, in terms of if you're in a corporate job or if you're an entrepreneur, it doesn't matter, is the value you can provide to other people. So look at this scenario. if you enter a room, you have to make sure that when you leave that room, everybody's feet in that room is cleaner than when you walked into it. Because what does that mean? That means that when you walked in, their feet were dirty, but when you walked out, you made sure that they were clean. That's a metaphor for value. That means every time you walk into a room, you should be aiming to see how can I somehow in some way provide value to this conversation, provide value to this group of people. And that's going to help you build your legacy, because that's when you're going to start grasping people's attention. You're going to start really connecting on another level with people, because they're going to see that your intentions for walking into that room weren't to just leave and take everything with you, but your intention was that when you walked into that room, you were going to make sure that every single person that was in that room left with more value because you were in that room. That's the mindset, and that's the legacy mindset that you have to have in order to build a successful legacy. So I want you to take that with you and really think about that. When you're stepping into the rooms, when you're stepping into different conversations, when you're stepping into meetings at your job, when you're stepping into meetings with other entrepreneurs or networking, what are you bringing to the table? And when you leave the rooms, are you bringing value and making sure everybody is better off, or are you just taking and not giving? All right? That's really important. And the bonus, I gotta give you the bonus. So for all of you that have watched until the end, I appreciate it. This is the bonus concept I wanted to give you guys now. So, the bonus concept, faith. This is where a spiritual concept comes in to play that I believe is very important, because I've had various experiences in my life where I've had faith in something where I really believed in it, like this. Like what I'm doing now, I really believe in this channel and what I want to achieve with it, and I'm putting my faith and work into giving value to all of you so that we can grow together. And I've had other situations that I've heard of other people that have had faith in tremendous circumstances where things were just so bad, yet they had faith that things were going to work their way out. So faith is all about seeing what seeing what is not there yet. So it's basically seeing things when they're not there yet. It's seeing past, right, the obstacles, and being able to understand and having faith that things are going to work their way out for good because my intentions are correct. Faith in the most drastic and desperate and negative situations in your life will be that anchor to help you stay steady when the storms of life want to shake you and move you and throw you around. Faith will help you stay steady in your position so that you can continue to build and do great things. So I believe it's a fundamental part of building a legacy, because that faith aspect is that inner drive, that inner feeling, that inner spirit that when things get their roughest, it'll help you remember why this all started and why this is so important for you to continue to build, for you to continue to move forward. Because a lot of people's lives may depend on you making this legacy happen. A lot of people's lives may be impacted because you decided to make a decision and take action and do the right thing. So I hope all of these 4 pillars will help you create, define, and move forward with your legacy building. And I hope that you stay steady and with faith that you can and will achieve great things if you put your mind to it, and if you continue to grow your knowledge, if you continue to remain consistent, if you don't give up, if you have faith and stay positive and work hard, things will work their way out, and you can build a legacy that when you're gone, people will be proud of, and you'll be able to leave a positive and great impact when you're not here anymore. That's my deepest hope and wish for all of you. Thank you all for tuning in to Legacy Up. Look forward to the next video. Hopefully it does. I am able to upload it tomorrow because there is a tropical storm passing through here in Puerto Rico tomorrow, and there was some news on it where it might get kind of crazy, so hopefully it doesn't get that bad where I'm not able to upload. But if it does, just know that that's what happened. But I'm going to continue to be uploading these videos daily. Look forward to seeing you again on the next one. Leave your comments and likes and love below. I appreciate every single one of you. Have a great day. Let's legacy up.